Hello, welcome back guys to another devlog where I tell you about the progress of my game Track Runner. As you know, these were the old models that I made for my game, and now I'm going to replace them with these new models that I made. They were kind of similar to the old ones, so I didn't record the process of making them. Just added a new barrier and made some coin variations. So first of all, I made this coin where I added the shoe design, but that didn't look good at that time. So I ended up making a new coin with a star printed on it. But then the star looked ugly, so I think I'm going to go with the shoe one only now. I kept the cone similar to before and added some details to the other barriers and removed the scenery from the tracks. I'm going to make some later in the video. So then I started modeling some new assets. So I wanted to make a coin magnet, so I started modeling it manually. But then I remembered I could use some tricks and modifiers to make it, so I ended up deleting that cube and used the wrap transform to add some details to it. So the shape of magnet was coming along, but the tool was not working properly, or more like it wasn't clipping even though the clipping was enabled on the mirror modifier. So then I tried using this warp tool without the mirror modifier, and the results were kind of unexpected. It started bending in a different direction. So then I thought, why not use the spin tool to make U shape of the magnet? And that also ended up giving me weird results like this. So I went back to the manual mode again. So I just used the extrude and rotate commands to make a shape of a magnet. And that looked kind of nice. At this point I was happy with anything after struggling with a simple magnet. Then I ended up making a pole. This one will be also a power up, where after collecting this you will be able to jump in the air with this pole. I don't know how I'm going to implement that, but we will see that in the future updates. Then I started making a jet instead of a jetpack. For this I ended up using a cylinder and used the extrude and scale command to give it a shape of a jet. I wanted this to be low poly and kind of cartoony, so this is the best I could do with it. Of all the commands in Blender, I think the most I like is the knife tool. Every problem I have can be easily solved with the knife tool. So here I ended up deleting the face where the pilot could sit. I was just looking at the reference image and trying to make anything that could resemble a cartoonish plane. This was also my first time modeling something like this, and I think it turned out pretty alright. Tell me if you want to see a detailed video on it. I also added some unnecessary details like the cockpit handle and the seat. I don't know if they are going to be useful anyways. Now that I think about it, I could have completely covered the top part as well and made it like a fighter jet or something. There is definitely a big size difference between the player and the jet. I don't know how it's gonna fit in that one. We'll have to see that in the game. This is the final result, how it turned out. I changed the color from yellow to green because there was a lot of yellow color being used in my other models. Then I duplicated the track and made a green plane. This is going to be the ground for the scenery assets. Then I made some tree variations. So first of all I made a pine tree. Then when I was making the other tree, the orthographic view was not working properly. I realized this mistake after a long time. So instead of using the smooth curve, I was using the random variation one, and that is the reason why I ended up getting such poorly shaped trees. Well, anyways, it's not like I would have made them million times better if the tool worked properly. So it's okay. Then I thought I need more obstacles for the race course. So I ended up making a bush for it, which doesn't necessarily look like a bush to me. And then I thought why not make a stone as well. So I ended up modeling a stone too. Then I started modeling some seeds for the environment. Then I also modeled a stage and used the knife tool again to write a run on it. Then I wanted to make a background ceiling of some sort, but I don't think this is something I want in the game right now. or I need to figure out some more details about it. So then I started working on the animations for the character. So first of all I started making an idle animation. This is a very simple animation, only breathing in and breathing out. I was going to make it a really long one. I'm so glad I didn't do that. I'm making animations after a long time, so I ended up taking a lot of time to make them. Then I started working on the run animation. I used a reference image from Google to get the keyframes, and this is how the animations turned out to be. This one also doesn't look that good, but I believe this is better than the animations that I have now. Now that I see my own animations, I feel like I should fix the Mixamo animations in Unity itself. We'll see about that in the future. Then I started working on the jump animation. This was only a short animation. I could have even used a single keyframe for the jump animation. And then I made the fall animation, and for this I ended up using a single frame only. I was trying to make it a little more detailed, like making his hands go in circles, but then I switched to single frame only. Then I started working on the slide animation. So I ended up searching in Google for some slide keyframes, but I didn't find anything. So I ended up just going with the flow and made a simple slide animation from my head. I didn't really think the slide animation will work, so I also ended up making a rolling animation along with it. I did get some keyframes for this, but I don't think they were that helpful for me. I just ended up selecting all the bones and rotated him after few frames. We'll have to see this animation in game to see if this works. Then I also ended up making a simple revive animation in which he just opens up like a cocoon. I think it looked good.